Here, countryside campaigners have responded with anger to a proposal by the Environment Secretary to let developers build on ancient woodland in England if they replace each tree destroyed with 100 new ones. Owen Pattison outlined the plan in today's Times newspaper, and he says that the loss of woods dating back more than 400 years can be mitigated by an enormous increase in the number of trees. Conservationists, though, say that notion is absurd, as Harry Smith reports.
This forest is wide. It can shelter and clothe and feed a band of good determined men.
Even before the days of Robin Hood, the ancient woodlands of England have been part of the country's folklore. But they're much more than just the setting for an Errol Flynn tale of derring do. Ancient woodland, defined as dating from at least 1600, represents the last link to the trees that covered Britain after the last ice age. They're home to rare species of birds, insects and plant life. So the latest suggestion by the Environment Secretary that developers could be allowed to build on them has provoked anger.
Ancient woodland and certain other irreplaceable habitats are the jewels in the crown of our countryside. And to say that they have to be developed, I don't think that's going to be the case when they cover already, unfortunately, so little of the countryside. So we would expect any development proposal to go through what's known as the mitigation hierarchy, where you look at avoiding the damage by perhaps siting somewhere else.
The Woodland Trust says the threat is widespread. It's currently fighting 380 developments across the country, including some on the edges of our largest and best-known woodlands. The Environment Secretary says some of those could be allowed to go ahead if the developers are forced to plant 100 new trees nearby for every one they destroy. That's known as biodiversity offsetting. But an example of how controversial that can be is clear from the government's attempts to widen this busy main road in Kent.
When plans were first announced to turn this two-lane bottleneck into a dual carriageway, local residents and businesses were delighted. It would cut accidents and journey times. There was, however, one drawback. It would also mean the demolition of a 2.5-mile stretch of ancient woodland. The government promised to plant 2 trees elsewhere for every one chopped down here, but environmental groups said that simply wasn't compensation enough for the loss of such a valuable natural habitat.
Behind the government's latest thinking is the fact that despite our acres of woodland, Britain is short of space. Not just for new roads. There is already a desperate need for more houses, and with the population predicted to increase, pressure to release more land for building is already growing.